Hi everyone, welcome to another Hatton's Model Railway SkillsCast session, where I show you some of the skills that you can learn to really enhance your layout and to develop your model railway. Today, we're having a look at cleaning the wheels on our rolling stock and locomotives. It's one of those things that we all hate. It's something that we've got to do, unfortunately, to keep our locomotives running spick and span and as good as they can do. But there's quite a few different methods that you can do, and some of them are actually quite enjoyable too once you get started. So I'm going to be looking at some of those today. All the products I've got here right now can be found on our website if you follow that link in the description. If you have any questions at all regarding which method you prefer or looking at some of the different options that are out there, please do ask them in the chat. Otherwise, I'll get started and I'll start showing you some of the methods. So we're going to start cheap and cheerful. We're going to start for you modelers who may be on a budget but want to make sure their locomotives run okay. And this is the glass fibre pen that you see here. This is a great item that comes in. £4.70 these are available for. Very similar to the pens you may see at home, but instead of having ink in them, they instead have glass fibres which will clean up the dirt and the carbon that accumulates on your locomotive wheels. That then shorts out the connection between the locomotive and the track and causes issues for your locos to run. So when repairing your locomotives or cleaning the wheels, I always have a nice bit of foam to hand, or you can indeed buy separate loco cradles. But switching over there to the detail camera, all we do here is we make sure we can access our wheels, just making sure none of the details fitted are in the way of where we're going to be cleaning. If we're starting with the budget option, I have the glass fibres here. You turn the pen at the end there, just turn it anti-clockwise to close and clockwise to open. Just put out maybe a couple of millimeters of the glass fibres and then gently run that on the wheels. What you will need to do with manual methods such as this is turn the locomotive on a little bit of track, just a slow bit of power to get to the side of the wheels that we can't reach here. But I'm just rubbing this straight onto the wheels, and you can see there, even though this is a relatively clean locomotive, it is polishing up the wheels somewhat that we have. So working through the series of the 6 wheels then and turning the locomotive wheels on a layout just to get them so they're accessible, really cheap, really economical way. The glass fibres do last quite some time too. So have a look at the options we have there. The only thing to bear in mind with these glass fibres is they are quite sharp and they can sometimes end up lodged in maybe your fingers if you get your fingers a little bit too close to the fibres. So if you're a little concerned about that, you can wear some plastic gloves, but at the same time, it is perfectly safe just to do it as we are doing here. Another thing to bear in mind if you're looking at this method is if you rub it too heavily, you may cause some very small scratches on the wheels, which won't have any impact on the running, but might just damage the loco cosmetically. So if you are using the glass fibres, just little and often, don't put too much pressure on there. It may take a little longer, but you're not going to be doing any damage to your wheels. A couple of you are already mentioning my next suggestion in the chat, and that is to use wheel cleaning fluid. Now, this is the Track Magic that we sell. This is available right now, and as good as it is for track, it's also perfect for cleaning locomotive wheels too. It's a IPA mixture, so it will clean the electrical contacts with no issues. So putting a very small amount of that into our container that I have here, and then we're going to do a very similar motion as we did on the previous model. You can use the brush that comes with the set. A couple of our eagle-eyed viewers already, Chelmsford Junction there, is already an expert on this method that I'm showing you right now. He's doing exactly what I am doing here, and that is cotton bud straight into our cleaning mixture. And again, just wiping that gently on the wheels, and that will bring them up. The bonus with using the cotton bud is that you have no issues scratching the wheels there either, and that cleaning fluid gives a film on it afterwards, which improves the quality of the pickups too. And of course, the bonus with using Track Magic is you can use it to clean your track too. So you can give your track a nice wipe over while you have some of the Track Magic available. So that is one method I would recommend also. It's a little bit more expensive. It starts at around £9.50 for the Track Magic packs. But again, you do get quite a decent amount in the bottle there. So that is a great way to get started if you want to avoid those glass fibers from the fiber pen. But if you're also on a budget and you want to do it manually, you can use the cleaning liquids that you have there. So that is one option. Just to check up on Ono Molded, I wouldn't really recommend a track rubber for this, mainly as they are quite large, and getting them close to the wheels, you will find it'll take the dirt off the wheels, but you may find that with them being quite large compared to the size of the locos, you might damage some of the detail on the underframe of the locos too. So you can do it if you want. I'd say that one's a little bit at your own risk, and do bear in mind that you may hit some of the details on your loco. So I wouldn't really suggest it, but if you're safe and careful, you can give it a go should you wish. Let's have a look at what I've got next. Got a few different options here. This is the Pico wheel scraper. We're coming into the areas now that you require a bit of track power with. So I've got a setup here that you can just see behind my locomotive. And these work in a number of different ways. So you can put these straight onto your layout, whether you're an analog or a digital modeler, and these plug in and use the power from your layout. The first one we'll look at is the Pico range. This is the wheel scraper here. So this is for really stubborn dirt that you see, and that will scrape off the details there. These connect to your track via a wire. So you plug the wire into your track, either with a crocodile clip or a more permanent connection should you wish, and then you can scrape the dirt off your wheels. They also do a brush too, which I have here to my right, and you can use both of those together. In fact, it is intended for you to use two at once, whether you use two of the brushes, two of the scrapers, or one of each, and then that will also work to clean the dirt off your wheels too. Another of the options there, if you've still got the power to your track, is to use the wheel cleaning platforms that we see here. These are available for N gauge and double O gauge, and you can pick those up. They're absolutely spot on for smaller locos. You put the locomotive on top of the brushes and the power heads through from your layout there, and the wheels will turn, but the locomotive will stay in place as long as you keep hold of it. One thing to bear in mind is you can see that it is quite a short length. The N gauge model I have here in front of me comes in at about that long, and the double O version is around 6 inches. You can put more and more together, but it does get quite expensive once you head down that route. So they're ideal for smaller locomotives, such as our Hatton's P-Class that I've got here on my workbench. But if you're looking at larger locomotives, have a look at what's coming next and some of the solutions that I am about to show you. Indeed, let's get one ready. We've got the tidy track mechanism here. This is one of a few different methods that you can use. There's the tidy track cleaners, there's the Lux model bow cleaners, there is indeed the Gauge Master Controls track cleaners, and we have information on all of those available in the description right now. So as you'll see, I have hooked that up to our track, and the power will be coming through exactly as we find on a normal layout there. So we put our locomotive onto this, and you'll see that not only has it got the rails heading down there, it's also got the cotton pads which clean the dirt off the locomotives. This is one off my own workbench, so you can see that it's already had quite a good amount of use already. So we'll put our locomotive on, make sure it's on those rails, absolutely fine. I'll spin that round so you can see it a little better. And then I'll just turn my controller. Hopefully I've got it set the right way. We're just about to see. There we go. Just make sure we get the connection right there. The wheels on this P-Class are a little dirtier than I thought. And then it will run up against the plastic pad at the end, but also be cleaning against the cotton pads that come on the side of the locomotive there. So that will then sit there and clean the wheels as it turns on the track. And you can leave that for a few minutes and the wheels will then be fully clean on your locomotive. As you can see, this works out at quite a length as well. It comes in at just under a foot long. So you'll be able to clean larger locomotives in your collection with this, which is a different option to those of you who are thinking about the pads that were just mentioned there. So let's get that going again. Just turn that off so you can hear me speak. So this is a great option if you're cleaning larger locomotives, but it's also ideal for smaller locomotives that you can see too. And these are available right now. As we mentioned earlier, there's a few different variations that are available out there. This is the Woodland Scenic track cleaner. This is the 00 version that you can find for £29, but different gauges are available too. And these I find are a really effective system if you're wanting to leave your locomotive running and if you're wanting to clean a lot of locomotives in your fleet. The one thing to bear in mind here is if you have a lot of different scales in your collection, if you have models that are different sizes and run on different tracks, having one of these cleaners, they are specific to the gauge that you operate. So it may get quite expensive to buy one for your 00 model railway, to buy one for your N-gauge model railway fleet too. And that is where some of the advantages of cleaning with the fluids, as we had before, with the Track Magic come into, because that doesn't matter what scale you're using it on. It's the same method whether you are using it on a 00 gauge locomotive, an N-gauge locomotive, or anything in between. You can just put that straight on there, straight onto the wheel sets of any locomotive of any size that you have. So if you do have a fleet of lots of different scales in your hobby, lots of different sizes and gauges, have a think about getting one of the sets that you can use for a lot of different styles, or have a bit of a look out there at the different items that we do too. So that is the main types that we have. We have the wheel cleaning pen, which is great for those of you on a budget. And if you're only just tuning in, head back towards the start of the stream and I'll show you that in operation. We have the Track Magic, which again is great for going across many different scales and does clean up the locomotives, but it does involve a little bit of elbow grease too, just making sure the wheels are fully cleaned, and it's quite labor intensive, but quite satisfying too. As we mentioned then, we have the likes of the Woodland Scenic Tidy Track Cleaner, where the locomotive's wheels will turn when you apply power to your track. You can hook those up to any layout you have, whether it's an analog or digital setup, and they're available for N-gauge and 00 gauge too. And finally, last but not least, some of you again have mentioned the wheel scrapers, which are electronic, which is really good for getting off some heavily ingrained dirt. So if you found a locomotive that you've not ran for quite a few years and it's very dirty indeed, you may find that this is a really good solution to get some of the tough dirt off your models. So I'll just show you again as well the track cleaning platform, the wheel cleaning platform that GaugeMaster do sell. This is a great middle ground sort of model, so you can use this on your smaller locomotives, be they N-gauge or 00 gauge. So have a look at the different types there. As ever, it's hard to say which my favorite is, and it's hard to say which the best is. There's 3 completely different types and ways to do the job. Hopefully, I've shown you some of the pluses and the minuses of how to do this and how to put the different items together that you have here. Whether you're a modeler on a budget who wants to make sure the locomotives are running perfectly, or you really want some of the high-tech systems that you have here to make sure your locomotives run just as nicely as they can do on your layout. There's something here for everyone, and it really is something you need to do to your locomotives to make sure that they run exactly as they should. So just again, to recap some of the systems that we've got here, starting at £4.70, you have the wheel cleaning fibre pen with the glass fibres. You turn the dial, the glass fibres come out, and then you put that on the bottom of your locomotives and scrape that on the wheels. We have the Track Magic IPA cleaning fluid, which can be used on track and also locomotive wheels. Again, just using a cotton bud or a supplied brush, straight onto the wheels. Absolutely no issues there. And last but not least, we'll go back to our tidy track system that you see here, where the locomotive runs on the track. The power comes from your already installed layout, and that will clean the wheels on the cotton pads as the locomotive runs along it. So a few different options there, some different things for you to look at. And as ever, do check out the link in the description where I've put a link to every single one of the wheel cleaning items that we do sell, whether it's the Track Magic, the Tidy Track, the Pico wheel scraper, or anything else that I have covered in today's stream. So I hope I've given you some ideas there on how to get your fleet running exactly as it should be. All of these methods are really effective and will make your locomotives run like new. So do take a look at them. If you've got any further questions or you're tuning in after we've done the live stream, please do add them in the comments section below or get in touch with our customer experience team who will be more than happy to help you out. Otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed today's SkillsCast session. If you have, don't forget to check out the rest of them on our YouTube channel and Facebook page available right now. And don't forget to like and subscribe to those pages too. Otherwise, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.